We just got the last teaser for the 14th anniversary bundle, so now we know what the last new ship is going to be. We also now know what the premium ship is going to be in this bundle, and in regards to that one, I'm not exactly thrilled. We're back here on Star Trek Online's German Twitter account because the English version still has yet to post the teaser, whereas the teaser was posted on the German account at almost an hour ago. You can see here all 4 new ships are going to be here, plus the 2 additions that they're adding to the bundle, and here we can see the 4th ship. That is going to be the Springfield class, so sorry to all of you who are hoping for the Freedom class. This is going to be the new ship. If we fast forward a little bit, we get to see what its skin is going to be. There we go. That's going to be the 2409 skin for the Springfield class. The saucer is very reminiscent to the Equinox class, the T6 Nova, which makes me really think this is probably going to be the science ship of the bundle, which makes kind of sense too if you're familiar with the Springfield class. It's got that roll bar with the main deflector dish on the lower side, makes it kind of vaguely reminiscent of the Oberth class. So yeah, the science ship for this seems like the obvious choice. Of course, we won't know that for sure until we get to see some stats, which we won't see until they are previewed on 10 Forward Weekly tomorrow, and then posted in the blog the next day. Now, if we fast forward a bit further, there is the new premium ship, and, well, it's not the Parliament class like I was hoping. This is the Tal Shiar Adapted Destroyer, which was released in a lockbox back in, I think it was 2017, so this is quite an old ship at this point, and I really got to question the logic to introducing this. Like, I see the Borg connection because I mean the adapted Tal Shiar ships, they are adapted from Borg technology because there was that whole storyline of the Tal Shiar messing around with Borg tech, and they made all those ships, and they made 2 playable ships based on that tech: the Tal Shiar Adapted Destroyer and the Adapted Battlecruiser. And I guess we're getting the Adapted Destroyer for whatever reason, because I guess this is technically a Borg-themed, or at least Borg-adjacent bundle, but the Parliament made so much more sense. Seriously, why this thing? This thing is, for one, it's hideous, and 2, its stats are just as underwhelming as the Parliament's were. Okay, maybe not just as underwhelming, but this still isn't a great ship, and we can see that once we get my camera out of the way. There we go. So let's get a look at this ship. Like I said, it was released back in 2017. It's a destroyer, so it's an escort. It's a bit more of a heavier, chunkier escort. So it's got a high hull modifier, but it's a little light on the maneuverability. But it's not a super bad thing. It's still not going to be as chunky as, say, like a decent-sized cruiser like the Lexington. Power buffs are okay. Would have liked to see some of that in Aux rather than shields, but whatever. The bridge officer seating, again, it's not bad. Commander level tactical, ensign tactical, lieutenant commander science, lieutenant commander universal intel, and lieutenant level universal pilot. So that means this is not a full intel ship because it only has a lieutenant commander intel seat. That's my first big gripe about this ship. It is not full spec, so it will not have the intel mechanic. Actually, I guess second gripe about this ship, because my first gripe is that it is ugly as sin. Seriously, look at this thing. Ugh. Next big gripe is the weapons layout, because this thing only has a 4-3 weapons layout, which, for an escort, that's not great. Forward-facing weapons are always more powerful than beam arrays, omni-beams, or turrets, so you want to have as many forward weapon slots as you possibly can. And only 4 on an escort is just disappointing, because they're gonna be the ones that have the maneuverability to get your enemies into your forward arcs, so you want them to have as much forward firepower as they possibly can. So 4-3 on an escort, any escort, not just this one, but 4-3 on any escort is just stupid, especially in this day and age of the game. So all this thing is doing is just really showing its age by having a 4-3 weapons layout, and by not being full spec. The console layout could be better too, only having 4 tactical, 3 engineering, and 4 science. I guess it's not that bad once you get it up to T6X2, because then you'll have your 2 universal consoles, but at its base level, only 4 tactical slots on an escort is a little low, for an escort. And if you're going the ISOMAGs route, only having 3 engineering slots is even worse. Again, it's not that bad if you get it up to T6X2, but at the same time, just at its base level, there are plenty of better ships with better console layouts. Couple that with the 4-3 weapons layout and the fact that it isn't full spec, all I see is a really dated ship. The starship trait on this thing is called Synergistic Tactical Systems, and what it does is anytime you activate Cannon Rapid Fire, Surgical Strikes, or Reroute Reserves to weapons, it'll provide large boost to your Starship Particle Generation skill or the Starship Control Expertise skill for a short time. So this starship trait is really only going to be useful on a Dusai build, one that is using one of the specialization firing modes, because no one is using Cannon Rapid Fire on a Dusai build. The buffs themselves aren't bad, but it would be nice if they lasted more than 15 seconds, and I don't know what the lockout period on this is either, and considering this is an old trait, it's probably something obscene like 30 seconds to a minute. Now, I don't own the starship, so I can't say for certain how well this starship trait actually performs, or how well it doesn't perform. If you're familiar with this starship trait, though, let me know it in the comments, and let me know if I'm wrong or not, because right now all I see is an old, dated trait that really doesn't have any purpose in the current state of the game, because like, seriously, Cannon Rapid Fire? Come on. Like, anything single target based mixed with EPG just doesn't sound right. The console on this thing is called Enhanced Shrapnel Torpedo Launcher, and I mean, it just fires a bunch of torpedoes at an enemy target. I can't really tell how much damage it does because it's all skill based. Again, I don't own the ship, so I can't say for certain how well it does or doesn't do. Again, so if you guys own this thing, let me know down in the comments. Is its damage any good, or is it pretty like I would suspect it would given the rest of the stats on this thing? Now, I'll admit, a while back when I was doing research for my all-torpedo build on the Legendary Akira, when that came out not that long ago, I was interested in this console because, I mean, it's a torpedo console. It fires torpedoes, so I kind of wanted it on that build. But that dream quickly got crushed because, well, one, it's a lockbox ship, but also because the console is only usable on the adapted Tal Shiar ships, so it's only usable on the Destroyer or the Battlecruiser. So it doesn't really matter how well this console does or doesn't do, because you're only going to be able to use it on this stupid mediocre ship up here. Oh, also, while this is a Tal Shiar ship, so you would think it's a Romulan ship, so you would think it would have a Romulan battle cloak. Nope, just has a standard cloak. Standard cloak, that's all it got. Also sensor analysis for some reason, which is kind of neat, but not enough to overcome the rest of the mediocrity that is this ship. I should also probably mention that the Tal Shiar adapted ships also come with the Tal Shiar adapted warp core, which is a unique type of warp core that gives some, well, it gives some buffs. I wouldn't say they're interesting. It gives bonuses to hull repair, aux power, and maximum aux power, which would be interesting for a science ship. But neither of the Tal Shiar ships are science ships. The one in the bundle here is going to be a destroyer. The only other one is the Battlecruiser, which is available in the Low Buy store. And yeah, like I said, it would be nice for a science ship maybe, but it's only usable on the Tal Shiar ships. So, well, seriously, what was the logic here? There's also some set bonuses if you have the warp core and the two consoles from both ships. The two-piece is just some hull and shield regeneration. Honestly, it's really underwhelming. And then the three-piece gives some buffs to certain exotic abilities, which, again, might be kind of interesting on a science ship, but the set isn't usable on any known science ship, so who gives a crap? Like, again, what... Griffin used to do this stuff all the time. They would love to make certain sets that were really interesting for certain build types, but there were always build types that were restricted on ships that didn't fit those build types. Like, this is a perfect example, and I was really glad when they started moving away from that kind of stuff, but, I mean, throwing this into a modern bundle is just like, why? Why would you think I would want to spend money on this? Because this is horrible. So yeah, those are all the ships that are going to be available in the 14th anniversary bundle. Tier 6 versions of the Challenger class, the Cheyenne class, the Springfield class, the Niagara class, as well as the existing version of the Tier 6 version of the New Orleans, as well as what I'm pretty sure is the Tier 3 version of the Constellation, and the Tal Shiar adapted battlecruiser for some reason. I mean, seriously, they did such a big deal about putting the Parliament into the Wolf 359 TFO. There was a whole 10 Forward Weekly about, you know, why it's there, about why it and the Akira are there, and yet this is the lockbox ship that's going to be in the bundle. Just hate this. I really don't like it. Honestly, I've never been more grateful that the new ships are always available as single purchases, you know, like normal C-store ships, because I'm sure at least one of these is going to be pretty interesting. I mean, the anniversary bundles historically have always had at least a couple ships that have actually been really good stats-wise, so I'm guessing at least one of these is definitely going to pique my interest, but as for the bundle itself, like, if this is what they're offering as the bundle exclusives, I just don't care. So yeah, really not much more to say about the individual new ships, because obviously we're not going to be getting stats until tomorrow at the earliest, so we're going to have to wait and see until then. But as for the premium ship that they've added to it, I've already said everything there is to say about it. I'm very unimpressed with that selection. Just seriously, why? Just why? Why? Like, I get that they can't just throw any lockbox or promo ship into the bundle. They want it to be something thematically appropriate, and I guess technically the Tal Shiar Adaptive Destroyer does fit that criteria, having that link to the board, but at the same time, who the heck really wants to buy this ship? Really? Like, who wants to spend anniversary bundle level money just so they can get the Tal Shiar Adaptive Destroyer? Like, a lot of us thought the Parliament was going to be the lockbox ship for this bundle, and I know a lot of people weren't thrilled about that because, I mean, it's got its own issues with its seating. You know, it's a 4-4 cruiser, it doesn't have enough tactical seating, you know, it's got its issues, but it's not as bad as it used to be ever since the introduction of ISOMAGs, and frankly, it's so much prettier. It's like, genuinely, I was really excited about the idea of having a Starfleet lockbox ship, sorry, a Starfleet lower deck ship that was available on my whole account, because all the Starfleet lower deck ships are currently only available through the lockboxes, and that has been really annoying to me because I love lower decks, and I was really looking forward to getting one of those ships unlocked on my whole account. I would have preferred the California, but, you know, I was really thrilled about it being the Parliament too, if that was going to be the option, but Tal Shiar Adaptive Destroyer. Yay! I hate it. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Are you excited about getting the Tal Shiar Adaptive Destroyer, or are you with me and you're starting to think, you know what, maybe I'll just get one or two of the ships and call it there? While you're down there, be sure to hit all the buttons that I usually talk about in the outros, and stay tuned, because we still got news to come about the stats for the new ships. We still haven't seen those yet, and those should be going out in 10.4 Weekly tomorrow, and there should be a blog the day after. Hopefully there's something good in there, because right now it is not looking good for this bundle.